Arcade Perfect by Arse. Right, okay folks, welcome to another Arcade Perfect My Arse. It's been bloody ages since I've done one of these. Now, I'll be honest, this particular one has been in production for about probably 3 months, and I finally got around to doing it. So anyway, yeah, it's Salamander. A shoot 'em up released by Konami. I'm not quite sure when it was released because I was too slow to notice the screenshot there. But yeah, it's kind of following on from the Gradius Nemesis world. It's a horizontal shooter, although that's technically not true. It's also a vertical shooter when you get to level 2. It's got some of the most impressive power-ups you're likely to see in a shooter. And you pick them up very quickly, as you can see there. I've only been playing about 30 seconds and already I've got some insane firepower. Now, the problem I have with games like this is you get this incredible firepower and you get so far into the game, but when you lose it, when you get hit, you invariably go right back to the start and it's difficult to recover. Now, this particular game does give you the option. You'll see there when I got hit, the little option, the sort of green orb things, they do remain on the screen and you've got a few seconds to try and pick them up, but it's very difficult to recover in any of these games when you're sort of like, you know, I was going to say halfway through the game, but when you're mid-action and you've got all the firepower under the sun and then bang, you lose everything. Now, the reason I've not done this particular Arcade Perfect for, you know, it's a well-known game. The reason I've never really done it is, if I'm being honest, I'm not a big fan of the game. Now, I love my glorious looking shoot 'em up stuff like Dodonpachi, R-Type, and this is no exception. But the thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it gives you weapons way too easy. You wouldn't think so the way I'm playing, but anyway. Yeah, you can build up insane power very, very quickly. I like my shoot 'em ups to kind of reward you gradually. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about whether this game is good or not. It's more or less just to look at home conversions. And you know, this is the most I've played Salamander. Put it this way, whilst making this particular video, I've played quite a few versions, which you'll soon get to see. Now, one of the things that makes this game really difficult, and it's the same with Nemesis, Gradius, and even R-Type to a degree, is if you so much as touch the ceiling or the floor or the edge of the cavern, whatever you want to call it, you die. And so sometimes trying to pick up power-ups that are very, very close to the surface or ceiling can be quite treacherous, and a lot of times, especially in this game, greed is your enemy. Instead of just settling for 3 power-ups or 3 options, you can see there I've got 4 at the moment, you think I'm going to get a 4th one, and then you hit the ceiling and you die. But you know, as far as visuals go, this is up there. It really is. It's a beautiful looking game. Oh, bollocks. And it's even got some berserk speech to enhance it further. Now, I think I'm safe to say this is probably the furthest I've ever actually got in this game. Not so much because I'm crap. Well, I am crap. It's the fact that I've hardly played the game. Oh, bollocks. How do you get past that? It's not even flashing it. I'm assuming you've got to shoot the eye thing. That's because that's what... all baddies have an eye that you need to shoot. It's not flashing, is it? Oh, that was fairly easy. Right, here we go. Yeah, as I was saying, it's also a horizontal, or sort of vertical shoot 'em up. This is all new ground to me. So you can get power-ups as well on this bit as well. Right, it looks like I can't destroy these rocks. Bloody hell. This is slightly fraught with danger. And it's good night from me. There you go, that is the arcade one. Right, first version is the MSX. Ah, nice. Don't get that in any other version I'm aware of anyway. Something that's slightly odd looking there is the fact that the score and the sort of like all the information is all pushed to the left. You'd think that would be in the middle, eh? Maybe that's just OCD in me, I'm not quite sure. Now, if you're going to get anywhere in a game like this, and I include Gradius and Nemesis, which I think are basically one in the same game, you really need to destroy as many of these things at the start. This is effectively your opportunity to get weapons. And if you make an arse of it like I am, then it's going to be downhill from there. It's going to be much, much harder to try and get anywhere. Now in this version you can use it, you've got two fire buttons. You pick up an option and you'll see that it tells you I can get speed if I want, but I then have to select it using the second fire button. Now this is more like it. I think this is is it pulse or ripple? I think it's ripple laser, I think they call that. I call it large circle or hula hoop. Nice and colourful. Now, this is not, it's not loyal to the arcade version. The arcade one doesn't look like this. So I'd probably say this is based on the arcade. It's not exact. Can I pick these up? Not quite sure. Now you see there the scrolling isn't the greatest. It's kind of juddering along. Everything's going a bit too slow. I think what I'll do to kind of give it a fair crack, I'll play each version twice. The MSX was it was one of these computers I used to see screenshots of games for, and I was always really envious because they always had really nice looking games. They had a lot of the Konami stuff. You had Gear Kung Fu, I think you had Green Beret and that kind of stuff as well. They always looked great. Now some of the enemies in this are super colourful, like these blue things. Then others like that red thing is just red. See there, the little blue ones are just blue, so I was going to say it's almost like a half-arsed effort. They've gone to all the bother of having so many enemies fully coloured, but did the MSX have sprites? It's probably got something to do with the actual hardware limitations and laziness, I would imagine. But it's bright and colourful. It's got the little kind of Starfield thing as well. Try and get a decent weapon here. Now normally if I play kind of these type games, I usually try and go for the laser because one shot will obviously take out a complete row of enemies. But you've got a smaller kind of not target as such, whereas this thing just destroys everything. Yeah, you can see there it's going very slow. Don't know what happened there. Right, no idea where I died there. Anyway, that's the MSX one. Right, on to the ZX Spectrum. Yeah, right away, as you would expect, a lot less colour and a lot less sound as well. I mean, the scrolling's not bad. It's not exactly silky smooth, but it's certainly better than MSX. You need to understand, when you play a Spectrum game, you're not going to get a lot of colour or sound. I mean, it plays all right. I was going to say it's a wee bit slow. I don't know. It's all right. The play area, I don't know if it's my imagination, but the play area does feel quite cramped, and it's also very difficult. You know, I mean, as far as getting a game of Salamander on the Spectrum goes, it's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah. Anyway, that's the Spectrum. Right, on to the first console. This is the NES, and right away I'm impressed with the graphics. So again, you need to pick up power-ups, and then you'll see at the bottom there, it's telling me I can get a ripple laser if I want, but instead I've opted to die. And I've basically come out of that first section with absolutely bugger all weapons. How did I get through there? I don't. Now, a lot of NES ports I've found can be quite glitchy. Quite a bit of slowdown, but so far that one looks alright. We'll give it another go. Right, what we want to try and do is get some decent weapons here, if you're going to stand any hope of actually getting anywhere in the game. That's quite a pathetic looking ripple laser. As far as ripple lasers go, I'm led to believe. Right, you twat, I've just, I wanted to get the laser there and I've upgraded one too many. That's one thing I don't like about the power-up system in these games, is it's very easy to, well, not so much very easy, it's very difficult to always get what you want. you go to pick up something and you end up upgrading the speed, which makes the controls wholly unruly. I've no idea how you're going to get through that bit. You just got to be quick. But this looks nice, I have to say. It does look very much like the arcade. A lot of the NES conversions tend to do their own thing. They'll base the game on the arcade, but they'll usually add in their own power-ups and levels and what have you. It's just a thing that they do. I don't know why they do it. Maybe try to give you more for money, or more value for money, I should say. But I think as a consumer, I would always want to have the pure arcade experience as best as possible. So yeah, there you go. That is the NES. Right, this next one is the Sharp X68000.
Destroy them all. Missile chamber is empty.
If you don't know what this is, or what the Sharp is, it was a machine that was released in early to mid 90s in Japan. It would never got a release outside Japan, which is unfortunate. It was an absolute behemoth of a computer. I believe it had the same hardware as the sort of original CPS Capcom hardware. So things like Final Fight and what have you, you were getting an 100% arcade perfect. I think they actually developed a lot of the arcade games on the Sharp. The downside to the Sharp is A, it's impossible to get. B, if you can get one, you're going to literally have to sell your wife and your grandmother. And thirdly, they're like hen's teeth. They're as rare as hen's teeth. And fourthly, you need to understand Japanese to work the thing. So for somebody like myself, it's going to have to be emulation. Now, I've been using my Mister for emulating most of these videos, but for some reason the Sharp X68000 core doesn't like this particular game. You can play the game, the only downside is you can't actually see your spaceship, so I'm using good old-fashioned RetroArch for this particular version. As you'd expect, it's the arcade, isn't it? It really is. Now, I was too lazy to configure my analog stick or use my arcade stick for this, so I'm using a gamepad for this particular version. All the other versions that you've seen so far and all the other versions that you're about to see, I was using my arcade stick, so you get better control. For this version, I was having to use a gamepad, so I'm not as good at this version. Or I'm less pish. Sorry, more pish, I should say. But before I even looked at this, I was expecting this to be arcade perfect, and I think it pretty much is. But yeah, this would have been some system you owned back in the day. It really would have. Playing arcade perfect arcade games back in the 90s would have just been incredible. Says one of the biggest reasons you'll lose a life in this game is through greed. You're trying to, like that there you go, perfect example. I was trying to pick up that power up and I crashed into the ground. You really need to get your fire button finger exercising for this game, because some of the bits you've got to keep shooting the landscape to effectively not die, like when you're trying to shoot your way through any solid walls. Unlike this bit coming up. Keep shooting. Keep it going. Keep it going. There we go. Oh, bollocks. Now, I don't know if it's my imagination, but I think the sprite detection is slightly out. I don't think I actually hit that there, but it did take a life from me. I don't know what it was with the arcade manufacturers. They're obsessed with like aliens and brains and what have you. And virtually every 80s sort of end of level boss was a brain. What's interesting, I've played the arcade one and I've played the Sharp X68000 and I've got to almost exactly the same point. So does that mean that, does that not prove how arcade perfect it was? Possibly. Right, on to the Amstrad. Now do not blink, this is not the Spectrum one, this is the Amstrad one. Right, now first up you can see how slow it is. Yeah, it's almost like you haven't, it's almost like the game's too slow that you can't actually fire quick enough. Oh, that was lucky, I thought it was a goner there. Now, what saddens me about this version is the Amstrad is a very, very capable computer, you know, with colour. Now, I think I'm right in saying that Andrew Glaister and Stuart Rucroft published the Spectrum one, not the Spectrum one, the Spectrum one. So I know both Amstrad and Spectrum today have the Z80 processor, and I think there's a lot of parallels, and that's why a lot of the ports that you see in the Spectrum for the Amstrad are similar, very, very similar. Which in some cases, with like things like Chase HQ, is great because it's a great game. But I think the Amstrad is capable of better, and I would say this is one particular game. Yeah, it's just too slow. This is one particular game I think it could definitely do better. Let's give it another shot. Now this game was a multi-load on all the 8 bits, which I was going to say you would expect. I mean, there were some amazing games, like I'm sure, I think the original Nemesis was a one-load game, but yeah, because of the sort of the graphics that are required for this game, it is a multi-load. Again, it always annoys me why the programmer, I should say, insists on putting his name on a game. So it's fine if he wants to have it in the credits, but don't have it on the main screen. We don't really want. Do we really need to see your name? the whole time of playing the game? Could you not have not had the Konami bit and made the screen bigger? Or is that a technical thing? I'm not sure. I have played some Amstrad games in the past where the screen is very small, and I've been told it's due to the technical limitations. I'm not quite sure because I'm not technical in the slightest. But yeah, there's really no need to have your name splattered all over the actual main play area. Can you imagine playing like Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 4 and you've got all the programmers' names on the screen? You wouldn't put up with that. It does play very similar to the Spectrum one, and it looks identical. It's just like your firepower isn't quick enough. But anyway, that's the Amstrad one. Right, now on to the PC Engine version. Right, you'll notice something different about this version. It doesn't actually give you power-ups as such. It doesn't give you little orbs to collect to then choose what you want. It just actually drops power-ups himself. See what I mean? It's just a power-up it gives you rather than the actual option. Now, right away, wow. Never mind the Sharp X68000 version. Look at this. This was classed as an 8-bit console. I think it had two 8-bit processors, so some people say it is 16-bit, but this came out, this machine was available when we were still playing Manic Miner on our Spectrums and Beachhead on our Commodore 64s. And can you imagine your mate playing this in his living room? Jesus. Unbelievable. I mean, absolutely no slowdown at all. The arcade does slow down, by the way. Now, one thing I can't comment on, because I've not done my research, because I don't do research when I do videos. If you want research and videos, go to Kim Justice and other channels. Other channels are available. I have no idea how many levels each of these versions have. They might only have 2 of the levels, 3, don't know. I'm just basing it on what I can see when I'm playing it. But this is an absolute joy to play. Albeit difficult. Yeah, the problem with these games is when you move too fast, if you've got too much speed, it is difficult to control. You've got to be very, very, very careful. Bollocks. Right, let's have another go. I did say I'd play 2 shots of each system. No, we don't want to continue. We want to start from scratch. See what I mean? You just automatically get the power up. You don't have to actually buy it. That technically makes it easier because in the arcade version, you've got to like pick up about 4 power-ups to get an option, whereas in this one you're only destroying 1 wave. So yeah, this is technically easier. So it's not entirely accurate. Yeah, you're getting power-ups that are a lot more readily available than the arcade or other versions. But as I've said in the past, arcade games don't always make good home games because arcade games are designed to take your money, nothing else. Yeah, they're designed to be... They're meant to be enjoyable because if they weren't enjoyable, nobody would want to play them. But they're designed to take your money, and they're made difficult for a reason. So what some companies do, is they will change it slightly to make it more sort of acceptable, not acceptable, accessible for a home market. Why did I die there? That was annoying. Back with nothing. Ow, bollocks. Too slow to get that as well. It's my last life, I think. Or last man, as we used to call it back in the 80s. Again at the same bit. So there you go, that is the wonderful PC Engine version. Now this, my friends, is the Commodore 64 one. Yep, do not adjust your TV sets. This is the Commodore 64 one. Ah, this is actually using the same power-up system as the PC Engine. Look at the graphics in this. This is insane. Now I think the graphics, if I remember rightly, was it Hugh Riley did the graphics? Or was it Bob Stevenson? Both these guys, I think it was Bob Stevenson, both these guys were renowned artists in the early days of the C64, so when you saw, I can't remember exactly who it was, when you saw their name in this, you knew graphically it was going to be accurate. But it's even got like the glowing star field as well. That's impressive. I mean, look at the number of bullets on screen. Seriously. And there's music. I mean, look at the graphics. Look at what it's moving about on screen at the moment. I have to say, I am extremely impressed with this version. Can I get through that gap? Yep, certainly can. Now I know this says this is the 64 one, that definitely came on multi-load. No surprise, to be fair, when you look at what it's actually doing here. You couldn't possibly fit an entire game in a single load. I mean, just having this running in 64K, I think is an incredible achievement. Even that looks brilliant. No, whoa, that was lucky. Right, the only slight difference with this in the arcade is the arcade one, Brain, has got 2 arms. This one's only got the 1. There you have it, folks. That is the last version. Yep, rewind tape, then press fire to play. That was the Commodore 64 one. So anyway, let's do a little summary. What have we had? The MSX one is super colourful. Really, really colourful. It does have some incredible slowdown. But it's a nice version. It's also got a little kind of intro bit with the spaceship flying away, which you don't get in the arcade one. I'm going to lump the Spectrum and Amstrad one together because they were both virtually identical. Disappointed with certainly the Amstrad one. Both played extremely slow to the point that the speedier ship and bullets was almost making it difficult to actually play the game. Maybe it's just me being crap, I don't know. The Amstrad one could have been super colourful, it really could have. NES one, really nice. A joy to play, you know. I didn't notice any real glitching going on at all. Sound, graphics, excellent version. SharpX 68000, as you would expect, was arcade perfect. It really was. What other versions have we got? The PC Engine version was absolutely phenomenal. Really, it's just I couldn't really criticise it. Like, though, if I was going to be super picky, it's the fact that they've changed the power-up system, the same as the Commodore 64. Instead of having to shoot and collect orbs to then power up, you were basically given the power up just for destroying one wave of baddies. But an absolutely phenomenal version. I think the only other version I've not mentioned is the Commodore 64. Consider my mind blown. I remember buying that on the Hit Squad back in the day, and I never really played it. I think just because it was multi-load. I had a disc drive at that point, and I wasn't really into multi-load games, and I never really played it. But oh my, what a version! Graphics, sound, it's even got music. Absolutely exceptional. It's got to be one of the best ports of any arcade game on a Commodore 64. Yeah, phenomenal. So what are my top 3? In third place, I'm going to go for the Commodore 64. I think it is a phenomenal achievement. I mean, when I do these Arcade Perfect My Arses, it's not so much how good, you know, what an incredible performance or, you know, conversion they've done in something. It's how does it stand up against other versions? How does it stand up against the arcade? And I think the Commodore 64 delivers in the bucket load. I really do. It's phenomenal. It's actually, it's, to look at it, you would think it was running on some other bit of hardware. So bronze medal, Commodore 64. Second place is going to be the PC Engine. Like I says, it's hard to really criticise it. You know, if you're going to be Mr. Picky from Mr. Picky Street from Picketville, then you would say because they've changed the power-up mechanism slightly, it's not 100% arcade perfect. But as far as graphics, sound, and the way it plays, they've knocked out the park. And no surprise, the best version is going to be the Sharp X68000. It does look and sound and play exactly like the arcade. So if you want the 100% arcade version, play the Sharp X68000. But go and try them out, especially the C64 one. I think that is phenomenal. So anyway, folks, that's another Arcade Perfect My Arse drawn to a close. If there is any game that I have never featured in this, now I have featured a lot, probably well over 100 different games, put a comment down below, I will check it out, and if I can be arsed, I might well make an Arcade Perfect just for you. And until later, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching.